Ah, what a nice setting, huh? It's a beautiful family room. There's a carpet, there's a nice light, there's a beautiful sign, there's some comfortable chairs. But there's a lot of stone too, isn't there? In fact, this place is waiting to be filled. These are niches, waiting to hold caskets and urns. Hardly a good way to start a video, isn't it? But oh, the thoughts that it causes. The thoughts that it sort of brings to mind as you start walking down these hallways and seeing those that already filled niches and those that are waiting to be filled. It kind of reminds me of what we know that we know, what we would bet our lives that we know, but for the life of us don't always act like we know it all, that one out of one of us will die. It will happen. There's a beautiful poem written by a gentleman named John Pavlovitz. It's called The Day I Die. On the day I die, a lot will happen. A lot will change. The world will be busy. On the day that I die, all the important appointments I made will be left unattended. The many plans that I had yet to complete will remain forever undone. The calendar that ruled so many of my days will now be irrelevant to me. All of the material things that I so chased and guarded and treasured will be left in the hands of others to care and to direct. The words of my critics, which so burden me, will cease to sting or capture anymore. They will be unable to touch me. The arguments I believed I'd won here will not serve me or bring me any satisfaction or solace. All my noisy incoming notifications and texts and calls will go unanswered. Their great urgencies will be quieted. My many nagging regrets will all be resigned to the past where they should have always been. Every superficial worry about my body that I have ever labored over, about my waistline, my hairline, my frown lines, they'll all fade away. My carefully crafted image, the one that I worked so hard to shape for others here, will be left to them to complete anyway. The sterling reputation that I once struggled so greatly to maintain will be of little concern for me anymore. All the small and the large anxieties that stole sleep from me each night will be rendered powerless. The deep and towering mysteries about life and death that so consumed my mind will finally be clarified in a way that they could never be while I lived. These will certainly all be true on the day that I die. Yet for as much as will happen on that day, one more thing will happen too. On the day I die, the very few people who really know and love me will grieve deeply. They will feel a void. They will feel cheated. They will not feel ready. They will feel as though a part of them has died as well. And on that day, more than anything in the world, they will want more time with me. I know this. I know this because of those that I love and grieve over. And so knowing this, while I am still alive, try to remember that my time with them is finite and fleeting and so very, very precious. And I'll do my best not to waste, not even a second of it. I'll try not to squander a priceless moment worrying about all the other things that will happen on that day I die. Because many of those things are either not my concern or, gee, they're not in my control. Friends, those other things that have an insidious way of keeping you from living even as you live, vying for your attention, competing for your affections, they rob you of the joy of this unrepeatable, unsustainable, ever evaporating, now with those who love you and want only to share it with you. Don't miss this chance to dance with them while you can. It's easy to waste so much daylight in the days before you die. Don't let your life be stolen every day by all that you've been led to believe that matters, because on the day that you die, On the day that you die, the fact is that much of it simply won't. Yes, you and I will die one day, but before that day comes, let us live. It's hard to imagine us holding a space. It's hard to imagine that this is where we will be, like so many before us now occupy. You know, maybe Robert Frost said it best. He said, all that he knows about life can be summed up in 3 words. It goes on. Now, maybe the best secret of life is to not let that pass, even as it goes on in us at this very moment. Yes, on the day that I die, many things will continue to happen and many things will stop. But on the day that I live, on the day that you live right now at this very moment, let us indeed live.